In the quiet moments of a temple, when the air hums with the whispers of ancient chants, there lies a treasure trove of stories that have inspired hearts for centuries. This is the world of Buddhist mythology, a rich tapestry woven from the dreams, struggles, and triumphs of countless souls who sought a path to enlightenment. At the heart of Buddhism is a profound quest for truth and liberation. But Buddhism isn't just about teachings and practices, it's also about the vibrant myths that breathe life into its spiritual journey. These myths are not merely tales, they are windows into the deepest hopes and fears of humanity, sculpted with care to guide and inspire. Imagine the Buddha, Siddhartha Gautama, seated under the Bodhi tree, his mind and heart enveloped in a sacred silence. The night was filled with 1,000 stars, and the earth seemed to hold its breath as he faced the great temptation of Mara, the embodiment of illusion and desire. As Mara's dark forces tried to pull him away from his quest, Siddhartha's resolve shone like a beacon. This was not just a moment of personal triumph, but a symbol of the struggle every person faces within their own hearts. Buddhist mythology tells of miracles and divine beings, but it's also grounded in the everyday struggles of ordinary people. The stories of the Buddha's past lives, each one a Jataka tale, reveal his endless compassion and wisdom. Each tale is a reflection of human nature, showing how kindness, patience, and courage can transform a person and ultimately, the world. In these stories, we meet the Bodhisattvas, who, out of sheer compassion, choose to remain in the cycle of rebirth to help others achieve enlightenment. Avalokiteshvara, the embodiment of infinite compassion, is a figure of solace and hope. His many forms and manifestations speak to the boundless nature of compassion, reminding us that even in our darkest hours, there is always a guiding light. Tara, another revered figure, represents the power of action and protection. Her myths are rich with messages of courage and grace, demonstrating how the divine can work through the most humble of beings. She is the swift savior, rushing to aid those in need, a symbol of the ever-present support available to those who seek it. In Buddhist cosmology, myths create a universe filled with layers of meaning and insight. They describe realms beyond our immediate experience, where beings live out the consequences of their past actions. The mythological landscape is not just a backdrop, but a reflection of the inner workings of the mind and the results of one's karma. Spirits and demons in Buddhist myths are not simply villains, they represent the inner struggles and obstacles that every practitioner faces. The terrifying demons of old are but shadows of doubt and fear, showing that the greatest battles are often those fought within our own minds. Sacred sites and relics are steeped in mythological significance. Each shrine and relic holds stories of devotion, miracles, and teachings that inspire awe and reverence. They are reminders of the profound experiences of the past, linking us to a lineage of seekers who have walked this path before us. The beauty of Buddhist mythology lies in its ability to capture universal human experiences and struggles. It turns the abstract principles of Buddhism into vivid, relatable stories that touch the soul. These myths offer not just historical or spiritual lessons, but emotional truths that resonate with the deepest parts of our being. Through these myths, we come to understand that the journey to enlightenment is not just about overcoming external challenges, but about navigating the inner landscapes of our hearts and minds. The stories offer comfort, encouragement, and inspiration, making the path to awakening a deeply personal and transformative experience. In the tranquil glow of ancient times, a prince named Siddhartha Gautama was born into a world of luxury and privilege. His story, filled with profound events and miraculous transformations, begins in a palace surrounded by opulence, yet destined for a journey beyond the palace walls that would change the course of history. From the moment Siddhartha came into the world, there were signs of something extraordinary. His birth was marked by incredible omens. Legend tells of a white elephant appearing in his mother's dream, symbolizing the coming of a great leader or sage. His life was prophesied to be either one of a great king or a spiritual teacher, depending on whether he stayed within the palace or ventured outside. As Siddhartha grew, his father, the king, was determined to keep him shielded from the harsh realities of life. He surrounded him with every luxury and comfort, believing this would ensure his son would choose the path of a great ruler. But fate had a different plan. One day, curiosity got the better of Siddhartha, and he ventured beyond the palace gates. what he saw shattered the illusion of a perfect life. He encountered sickness, old age, and death, sights he had been shielded from. These experiences struck him deeply, awakening a profound sense of sorrow and questioning. He could no longer accept a life of privilege while others suffered. Moved by what he had witnessed, Siddhartha made a decision that would change everything. He left behind his wife, his newborn son, and the comfort of royal life to seek answers to the suffering he had seen. This moment of renunciation was not just a departure from his royal duties, but a courageous step towards understanding the deeper truths of human existence. Siddhartha's quest led him through rigorous ascetic practices and encounters with various teachers, each offering different insights, but none providing the answers he sought. His search took him to the brink of starvation and exhaustion. He learned that extreme austerities did not bring enlightenment, but only led to physical suffering. Finally, Siddhartha settled under the Bodhi tree in a place now known as Bodh Gaya. He resolved to sit there until he found the truth. As he meditated, he was tested by Mara, the demon of illusion and temptation. Mara sent his daughters to seduce him, and his armies to frighten him. But Siddhartha remained unmoved, his focus unwavering. During this pivotal night, Siddhartha confronted and overcame Mara's temptations. His struggles symbolized the inner conflicts and distractions that every person faces on their path to self-realization. As the first light of dawn touched the earth, Siddhartha achieved enlightenment. He had seen through the illusions of the material world and grasped the nature of suffering and the path to liberation. In that profound moment, Siddhartha became the Buddha, the awakened one. He understood the nature of suffering, its cause, and how to overcome it. His realization was not just a personal triumph, but a gift to humanity, a path to end suffering and attain true peace. His first teachings, delivered at Deer Park in Sarnath, laid out the Four Noble Truths and the Eightfold Path, offering a roadmap for others to follow. These teachings were not just doctrines, but a lifeline for those lost in their own struggles. The life of Siddhartha Gautama is more than a historical account, it is a profound story of transformation and wisdom. His journey from a prince to the Buddha reflects a deep, universal quest for meaning and freedom from suffering. His legends are not mere tales, but heartfelt lessons that continue to inspire and guide millions on their own paths to enlightenment. In a quiet grove of the ancient kingdom of Lumbini, where the air was thick with the fragrance of blooming flowers, a miracle was about to unfold. It was a time when the world was still shrouded in the mysteries of the divine, and every detail of Siddhartha Gautama's birth seemed touched by a higher power. Queen Maya, Siddhartha's mother, had a dream before his birth. She dreamt of a majestic white elephant, with 6 tusks, entering her womb. This vision was a divine omen, signaling the arrival of a child destined for greatness. When Siddhartha was born, the earth itself seemed to celebrate. The story tells of lotus flowers blooming beneath his feet with every step he took, and celestial beings descending to shower him with petals and blessings. His birth was not just a miraculous event, but a sign of the profound journey that lay ahead. The baby prince, Siddhartha, was born in a lush garden and was immediately recognized by the wise men and seers of the time as someone extraordinary. They saw in him the potential to become either a great king or a spiritual teacher who would change the course of human history. This prophecy hung over his early years like a gentle, guiding whisper. In his early life, Siddhartha's existence was enveloped in a cocoon of luxury and security. His father, King Siddhartha, deeply loved his son and wanted nothing more than to shield him from the world's harsh realities. He surrounded Siddhartha with everything imaginable: beautiful palaces, joyous celebrations, and a life of unending comfort. Yet, this isolation was more than just protection, it was also a preparation for a future that would demand more than worldly pleasures. As a child, Siddhartha was already displaying signs of his extraordinary nature. Even as a young boy, he was known for his deep compassion and wisdom. There are stories of him demonstrating remarkable insight, like understanding the language of animals and showing empathy towards all living beings. His interactions were marked by a gentle presence and a deep understanding that belied his years. One of the most touching tales from his early years is of his encounter with a wounded swan. Siddhartha, still a child, saw a beautiful swan injured by an arrow. He carefully tended to its wounds, healing it with a mix of tenderness and wisdom. His compassion extended beyond mere acts of kindness. It was a reflection of his inner nature, a glimpse of the compassion that would later define his teachings. Despite the opulence surrounding him, Siddhartha was not insulated from the inevitable. As he grew older, he began to question the meaning of life. His father's efforts to shield him from suffering were in vain as Siddhartha's inquisitiveness grew. When he ventured outside the palace walls for the first time, he encountered the suffering of the world, the sickness, old age, and death that had been hidden from him. These experiences were like a sudden storm that shook his sheltered world and planted seeds of doubt and curiosity in his mind. The pivotal moment came when Siddhartha witnessed an old sage who had transcended worldly suffering. This sage's serenity and wisdom struck Siddhartha deeply. He saw that there was a path beyond the superficial pleasures of his princely life, a path that led to deeper truths and liberation. This realization was the beginning of his quest for enlightenment, a quest that would eventually lead him to leave his royal life and embark on a journey to understand the nature of suffering and find the way to overcome it. Siddhartha's early life, filled with miracles and profound moments, set the stage for his later transformation into the Buddha. His birth, shrouded in divine signs, and his early experiences of compassion and questioning were not just precursors to his enlightenment, but the very essence of his future teachings. These stories are not just historical accounts, but living symbols of the journey from a life of comfort to one of profound spiritual awakening, touching the hearts of all who hear them. In the quiet hours of a moonlit night, Siddhartha Gautama, a prince living in unparalleled luxury, made a decision that would alter the course of his life and the lives of countless others. The palace, bathed in the soft glow of the moon, was filled with the gentle sounds of his sleeping family, unaware of the monumental change that was about to unfold. Siddhartha had lived a life of comfort and splendor, shielded from the harsh realities of the world. But as he ventured beyond the palace walls, he encountered suffering, sickness, old age, and death. These experiences shook him to the core, revealing the fleeting nature of worldly pleasures and the inevitable suffering that accompanies human existence. The seed of doubt grew into a powerful resolve. Siddhartha could no longer ignore the truth of human suffering that lay hidden beneath his life of privilege. His heart ached with a deep yearning to understand the meaning of life and find a way to alleviate the pain he had seen. He knew that to find the answers he sought, he needed to leave behind everything he knew and venture into the unknown. On a silent, star-filled night, Siddhartha made his way through the palace. With a heavy heart but unwavering determination, he left behind his wife, his newborn son, and the comforts of royal life. He rode out of the palace gates on a horse, his heart torn between love for his family and the deep calling of his spiritual quest. Each step away from the palace was a step into uncertainty, a step towards a profound and challenging journey. The prince's departure was not just a physical journey, but a symbolic act of renunciation. It was an act of profound courage and sacrifice as he turned away from a life of ease to face the raw, unfiltered experiences of the world. His heart was filled with both sadness and hope, a hope that his quest would lead him to a truth that could offer relief to the suffering he had witnessed. Siddhartha's quest for enlightenment was marked by intense trials and tribulations. He sought out teachers and embraced severe ascetic practices, believing that extreme self-denial might lead him to spiritual awakening. He lived on minimal food, enduring hunger and physical pain, but the deeper he delved into these practices, the more he realized they were not the answer. His body grew weak, but his spirit remained unbroken. During these arduous years, Siddhartha encountered many people who offered their wisdom and guidance, but none could provide the answers he sought. The teachings he received were valuable, yet they only touched the surface of his profound quest for understanding. The more he experienced, the clearer it became that true enlightenment lay beyond mere external practices and self-mortification. At the brink of despair, Siddhartha came to a crucial realization. Extreme asceticism was not the path to true knowledge, rather, it was the middle way, a path of moderation and balance, that held the key. This insight led him to a pivotal moment. He chose to abandon the extreme practices and embrace a more balanced approach to his quest. Siddhartha's path led him to a serene spot beneath a Bodhi tree in Bodh Gaya. Here, he resolved to sit in meditation until he achieved enlightenment. This moment was both a declaration and a surrender, a commitment to seek truth with unwavering dedication. As he sat in stillness, he faced a series of temptations and challenges from Mara, the demon of illusion and desire. Mara's attempts to distract Siddhartha were fierce. He sent storms, seductive temptations, and fearful visions, trying to pull Siddhartha away from his quest. But Siddhartha's resolve was like a rock against the crashing waves. His focus remained steady, his mind clear, and his spirit undaunted. Each challenge he faced symbolized the internal struggles and obstacles that all seekers must overcome on their path to enlightenment. As the first light of dawn painted the sky with hues of gold and pink, Siddhartha's meditation reached its climax. He achieved a profound realization and was finally enlightened. In that moment, he understood the nature of suffering, the causes of suffering, and the path to overcome it. He had unlocked the mysteries of existence and attained the state of nirvana, a profound peace that transcended worldly suffering. The Great Renunciation and the quest for enlightenment were not just historical events, they were powerful symbols of the universal search for meaning and liberation. Siddhartha's journey from prince to Buddha is a testament to the courage and dedication required to face the deepest truths of human existence. His story touches the heart, offering a beacon of hope and inspiration for all who seek to understand and transcend the pain of life. In the quiet hush of a moonlit night, beneath the Bodhi tree, Siddhartha Gautama sat with unwavering resolve. This was the moment that would change everything, a moment filled with both anticipation and profound stillness. Siddhartha had made a vow to remain in meditation until he found the truth. His heart, worn and weary from years of searching, was now poised on the edge of enlightenment. The tree, ancient and serene, stood as a silent witness to Siddhartha's struggle. The air was still, as if holding its breath in reverence. As Siddhartha settled into his meditation, he was not alone. Mara, the demon of illusion, approached with all the forces of temptation and fear. He sent seductive visions, fierce storms, and his own terrifying armies, all in an effort to distract Siddhartha from his quest. But Siddhartha's determination was like a steady flame that refused to be extinguished. Each temptation, each trial, was met with a calm and unwavering focus. The storm raged, the visions flitted, but Siddhartha's heart remained steady. He was no longer just a seeker, he was a warrior against the illusions that clouded the human mind. As the night unfolded into dawn, the sky was painted with the first light of a new day. In that sacred moment, Siddhartha experienced a profound awakening. His mind was suddenly clear, like a cloudless sky after a storm. He saw the nature of suffering and the way to transcend it. The illusions that had once seemed so real dissolved, leaving behind a profound peace and understanding. Siddhartha's awakening was not merely an intellectual realization but a deep, transformative experience. He understood the Four Noble Truths, the reality of suffering, its cause, its end, and the path leading to its end. This clarity was nirvana, a state of ultimate liberation and peace, free from the cycles of birth and rebirth. It was a freedom beyond any worldly pleasure or pain, a serene and boundless state of being. In the midst of this profound realization, Siddhartha became the Buddha, the awakened one. His enlightenment was not just a personal triumph, but a gift to all humanity. It was a beacon of hope and a guide for those lost in their own struggles. The Buddha's understanding of nirvana and the middle way became the cornerstone of his teachings, offering a path to others seeking freedom from suffering. The middle way, as Siddhartha discovered, was a path of moderation between extremes. He had previously experienced the extremes of self-indulgence and self-mortification. The middle way was a balanced approach to life, emphasizing a path that avoids both excessive pleasure and extreme asceticism. It was a path of wisdom and compassion, leading to a life of harmony and insight. The significance of the middle way lies in its ability to guide individuals toward a balanced and harmonious life. It is a path of moderation that encourages living with awareness and understanding, free from the extremes that lead to suffering. This approach is not about denying oneself pleasures, but about finding a balanced, mindful way of living that leads to true contentment and liberation. The moment of Siddhartha's enlightenment under the Bodhi tree was a profound, transformative event that changed not just his life but the course of history. It was a moment when the veil of illusion was lifted, revealing the profound truth of existence. The Bodhi tree, with its deep roots and sprawling branches, symbolized the grounded wisdom and expansive insight that Siddhartha attained. Siddhartha's experience was a testament to the power of perseverance and the transformative nature of enlightenment. His story offers a powerful reminder of the potential within each person to transcend suffering and achieve a state of profound peace and understanding. The awakening of the Buddha under the Bodhi tree is a heart-touching moment of universal significance, a profound revelation that continues to inspire and guide countless seekers on their own paths to enlightenment. The morning sun cast its first golden rays on Deer Park in Sarnath, where a gentle breeze rustled through the trees. The air was filled with a sense of anticipation as Siddhartha Gautama, now the Buddha, prepared to share the fruits of his profound enlightenment. This was no ordinary gathering. It was the moment that would set the course for the teachings that would transform countless lives. Buddha had just attained enlightenment under the Bodhi tree, and his heart overflowed with the understanding he had gained. He knew that to keep this wisdom locked away would be to deny countless beings the chance to find relief from their suffering. His first sermon was not just a set of teachings, it was a beacon of hope and a guide for those lost in the darkness of ignorance and despair. The Buddha addressed his former companions, the 5 ascetics who had once practiced extreme self-denial with him. They were skeptical, having seen his abandonment of their severe practices. But when Buddha began to speak, his words carried a power that resonated with a deep truth. He spoke of the 4 noble truths, an understanding of suffering, its causes, its cessation, and the path leading to its end. As he spoke, the atmosphere seemed to shift. His words were not just heard but felt deeply in the hearts of those who listened. The Buddha described suffering as an intrinsic part of human experience, yet he also offered a path out of it. He explained the nature of desire and attachment, the sources of suffering, and revealed the way to overcome these challenges through the Eightfold Path, a guide to living a life of wisdom, ethical conduct, and mental discipline. The impact of the Buddha's first sermon was profound. It was as if the weight of suffering had been lifted from the listeners' hearts. The clarity and compassion in his teaching struck a chord deep within them. The message of hope, understanding, and practical steps to achieve liberation resonated so powerfully that the once skeptical ascetics experienced a profound shift. They recognized the truth in Buddha's words and became his first followers, marking the beginning of a new spiritual community. The establishment of the Sangha, or the monastic community, was a natural and significant development. The Sangha was more than just a group of monks, it was the embodiment of Buddha's teachings, living proof of the path he had laid out. This community of devoted individuals sought to live according to the principles of the Eightfold Path, dedicating their lives to meditation, ethical conduct, and the pursuit of enlightenment. The formation of the Sangha was not just about creating a new group, but about creating a space where people could come together to support one another on their spiritual paths. It was a community grounded in mutual respect, compassion, and a shared commitment to understanding the profound truths taught by the Buddha. The Sangha became a beacon of hope and a practical embodiment of the teachings that promised liberation from suffering. As the community grew, so did the impact of Buddha's teachings. The Sangha became a place where seekers could find guidance, support, and inspiration. It was a living, breathing example of how the Buddha's teachings could transform lives and offer a path to true peace and understanding. The first sermon and the formation of the Sangha were not just historical events, they were milestones in a spiritual revolution that would resonate through the ages, touching the hearts and minds of countless individuals seeking to find their own path to enlightenment. In the heart of ancient forests and beside quiet rivers, stories whisper through the leaves and across the ages. These are the Jataka tales, legends of the Buddha's past lives, each one a window into his journey toward enlightenment. These tales are more than mere stories, they are profound lessons wrapped in captivating narratives, revealing the virtues that Buddha cultivated over countless lifetimes. One such tale speaks of a past life as a wise and gentle hare. In this story, the hare lived in a forest with a kind heart and an unwavering sense of generosity. One day, a traveler appeared, hungry and weak. The hare, despite having little to offer, decided to sacrifice itself to feed the traveler. It leaped into the fire, offering its flesh to save another being. The traveler, revealed to be a deity in disguise, was deeply moved by the hare's selfless act. This tale highlights the virtue of compassion, showing that true kindness often means giving up something precious, even oneself, for the sake of others. Another tale tells of the Buddha's life as a noble prince who, despite his royal position, renounced his kingdom to live as an ascetic. His life was a testament to self-discipline and sacrifice. During a time of great drought, the prince found a hidden reservoir of water and chose to share it with all beings, even though it meant depleting the reserve. This story teaches the value of sacrifice and the importance of acting for the benefit of all, showing that leadership and compassion go hand in hand. Then there is the tale of the wise elephant. In this story, the Buddha was born as an elephant with an incredible sense of duty and courage. One day, a forest fire threatened his herd. The elephant, despite the danger, led the herd to safety, guiding them through the flames and perils. His bravery and leadership saved many lives, illustrating the virtues of courage and responsibility. The tale reminds us that true strength lies not just in physical prowess, but in the willingness to protect and care for others, even at great personal risk. Each Jataka tale carries a profound moral lesson, echoing the principles of compassion, sacrifice, and wisdom that the Buddha embodied throughout his many lifetimes. These stories are not just historical or religious relics, but are imbued with timeless values that continue to inspire and guide those who hear them. The significance of the Jataka tales in Buddhist mythology is immense. They provide a rich tapestry of moral teachings through engaging and relatable stories. Each tale illustrates different aspects of the Buddha's path to enlightenment, showing how virtues were cultivated through many lives and experiences. They serve as powerful reminders that the journey to enlightenment is a gradual process, built on acts of kindness, sacrifice, and wisdom. These tales are also a way to connect with the universal values of human experience. They resonate with anyone who has faced challenges or sought to live a life of virtue. Through the stories of past lives, the Buddha's teachings come to life, offering practical examples of how one can embody these virtues in their own life. In every corner of the world, from ancient temples to modern minds, the Jataka tales continue to touch hearts and inspire action. They are more than just stories, they are living lessons in the art of living well and the pursuit of a life filled with compassion and understanding. The legends of the Jataka tales remain a vibrant and moving part of Buddhist mythology, reflecting the timeless journey of the Buddha's many lives and the profound truths he shared with the world. In the quiet moments of self-reflection, a question often arises: what if you could achieve ultimate enlightenment but chose instead to stay behind, helping others along their own paths? This is the essence of the Bodhisattva path, a path of immense compassion and wisdom. It's a path walked by those who have vowed to remain in the world, not just to attain their own enlightenment, but to assist all beings in achieving the same. At the heart of this path is the Bodhisattva, a being who has made a sacred vow to attain Buddhahood for the sake of all sentient beings. Unlike those who seek enlightenment solely for their own liberation, Bodhisattvas choose to delay their final awakening. Their compassion and wisdom compel them to assist others in overcoming suffering and reaching enlightenment themselves. One of the most revered bodhisattvas is Avalokiteshvara, often depicted with 1,000 arms and eyes. This bodhisattva embodies boundless compassion and the ability to reach out in every direction to help those in need. The tale of Avalokiteshvara is deeply moving. In one story, Avalokiteshvara, upon seeing the suffering of countless beings, vowed to save them all. Despite the seemingly impossible task, his heart was filled with unwavering compassion. When he found himself unable to save everyone, he wept, and his tears became a multitude of other bodhisattvas, each one dedicated to alleviating the suffering of beings. This story reflects the infinite compassion of Avalokiteshvara and the idea that even in the face of overwhelming suffering, one's dedication to others can multiply and manifest in countless ways. Another poignant story is that of Ksitigarbha Bodhisattva, who is often depicted as a monk carrying a staff and a wish-fulfilling jewel. Ksitigarbha made a solemn vow to help beings in the hell realms, places of intense suffering, promising not to attain Buddhahood until these realms were empty. This vow reflects an extraordinary commitment to alleviating the suffering of others, no matter how daunting the challenge. The stories of Ksitigarbha's compassionate acts, including his efforts to guide lost souls and ease their pain, touch the heart and exemplify the Bodhisattva's deep empathy and unwavering dedication. The tales of these bodhisattvas are more than historical or religious accounts. They are vibrant illustrations of the virtues of compassion and wisdom. Each story of a bodhisattva reveals a different aspect of their commitment to helping others. These figures are not merely symbols but are deeply embedded in the practice and beliefs of those who follow the bodhisattva path. They embody the ideals of selflessness, patience, and a profound wish to aid all beings in their suffering. The Bodhisattva path is marked by the practice of the six perfections: generosity, ethics, patience, effort, concentration, and wisdom. These perfections guide the Bodhisattva in their quest to benefit others. Stories of bodhisattvas often highlight their extraordinary efforts to practice these virtues, demonstrating how each one leads to the alleviation of suffering and the cultivation of a compassionate heart. For instance, the tale of the bodhisattva who, in a moment of extreme hardship, chose to offer the last of his belongings to someone in need, illustrates the perfection of generosity. Each act, no matter how small, reflects a deep commitment to the well-being of others. In the realm of Buddhist mythology, the Bodhisattva path represents the ultimate expression of love and selflessness. It's a path that asks individuals to look beyond their own needs and desires, and instead, focus on the welfare of others. The stories of bodhisattvas, with their vows and acts of compassion, offer a profound lesson in empathy and dedication. They remind us that true enlightenment is not just a personal achievement but a collective journey, enriched by acts of kindness and the shared pursuit of alleviating suffering. In the quiet moments of despair, when hope seems distant, a figure of profound compassion and infinite grace reaches out across the ages. This figure is Avalokiteshvara, also known as Chenrezig, whose very essence embodies boundless love and mercy. The mythology surrounding Avalokiteshvara is as rich and moving as the compassion he represents. Avalokiteshvara's origins are deeply intertwined with stories of his unwavering vow to help all sentient beings. According to legend, Avalokiteshvara was once a bodhisattva who vowed to achieve Buddhahood only when all beings had been freed from suffering. Witnessing the vast expanse of suffering in the world, Avalokiteshvara's heart ached with a compassion so deep that he vowed to stay in the world to aid others until all were liberated. This vow was not an ordinary promise, but a profound declaration of selfless love and dedication. One of the most touching myths about Avalokiteshvara speaks of how, despite his tireless efforts, he found himself unable to save everyone from suffering. This failure caused him immense sorrow, and in his grief, he cried. From his tears sprang thousands of other bodhisattvas, each committed to alleviating the suffering of beings. This powerful myth illustrates Avalokiteshvara's boundless compassion and his ability to inspire others to join in his mission of mercy. Avalokiteshvara is also known for his many manifestations, each reflecting a different facet of his compassion. One of the most revered forms is the thousand-armed Avalokiteshvara, depicted with 1,000 arms and eyes. This form symbolizes his ability to reach out and see the suffering of countless beings simultaneously. Each hand holds a different tool or symbol, representing the various ways he assists those in need. The 1,000 arms signify not just physical help but also the ability to offer support in countless ways, whether through wisdom, understanding, or direct aid. Another significant manifestation is the Avalokiteshvara with 11 heads, each head representing a different aspect of his wisdom and compassion. This form emphasizes his profound ability to perceive the needs and suffering of all beings from multiple perspectives. It's said that this form was created to better hear the cries for help from every corner of the world, showing his boundless capacity to listen and respond. In Tibet, Chenrezig, as Avalokiteshvara is known, is often depicted with a peaceful face and a gentle demeanor, embodying the essence of loving-kindness and compassion. The image of Chenrezig sitting serenely with his hands in a gesture of blessing is a beacon of hope for many. The mantra associated with him, Om Mani Padme Hum, meaning the jewel is in the lotus, captures the essence of his teachings. This mantra is a powerful invocation of his compassion and a call to develop inner purity and kindness. Each manifestation of Avalokiteshvara is more than a mere form, it is a living symbol of the various ways compassion can manifest in the world. These forms offer solace and guidance, showing that help can come in many shapes and forms. Avalokiteshvara's different appearances reflect the many ways he reaches out to those in need, offering comfort, wisdom, and support. Avalokiteshvara's mythology is a testament to the limitless nature of compassion. His story and manifestations remind us that no matter how great the suffering in the world, there is always a source of mercy and hope. Through the many forms of Avalokiteshvara, the essence of boundless love and the promise of help resonate deeply, providing solace and inspiration to countless individuals seeking relief from their own trials. In the vast tapestry of Buddhist mythology, there is a figure whose presence radiates wisdom and clarity like the first light of dawn piercing through the morning mist. This is Manjushri, the Bodhisattva of wisdom, whose stories and attributes offer a beacon of insight and understanding. One powerful legend tells of how Manjushri acquired his profound wisdom. It is said that he once saw the world shrouded in darkness and confusion. Realizing that true enlightenment could not be attained through mere appearances or superficial understanding, he sought to dispel this ignorance. With a heart full of compassion, he went to the depths of his being and emerged with a sword of wisdom. This sword, not a weapon of violence but a symbol of discernment, cuts through the darkness of ignorance, revealing the light of true knowledge. The sword's blade is as sharp as the clarity it brings, slicing through the veils of illusion to reveal the fundamental truth of existence. Manjushri is often depicted holding this sword in one hand and a scripture, symbolizing wisdom, in the other. His radiant form stands as a reminder that wisdom is not merely about knowledge, but about understanding the deeper truths of life. His serene expression and graceful posture embody the calm and clarity that come with true enlightenment. Another cherished story recounts how Manjushri, with his compassionate heart and sharp mind, helped a king who was troubled by a vast and mysterious disease spreading through his kingdom. The king, desperate and fearful, sought Manjushri's guidance. With deep wisdom, Manjushri instructed the king to perform acts of kindness and generosity, teaching him that the path to healing lay not in external remedies but in cultivating compassion and wisdom within himself and his realm. The king's heart opened to this wisdom, and the kingdom flourished in harmony and health. This story emphasizes that wisdom and compassion are intertwined, and true healing comes from understanding and applying these virtues in our lives. Manjushri's role in Buddhist teachings and practices is profound. He is not merely a figure of legend, but an active guide in the pursuit of wisdom and enlightenment. His teachings often focus on the importance of discerning truth from illusion, urging practitioners to look beyond the surface and seek the essence of reality. In meditation practices, Manjushri's presence is invoked to clear the mind of distractions and to sharpen one's insight into the nature of existence. Manjushri's mantra, Omra Pa Tsa Na Dai, is a powerful invocation that aids in the development of wisdom and clarity. Repeating this mantra is believed to enhance one's ability to discern truth, understand the deeper meaning of teachings, and overcome ignorance. The sound of the mantra resonates with the purity of Manjushri's wisdom, guiding practitioners toward enlightenment. In artistic representations, Manjushri's serene countenance and the symbols he holds, the sword and the scripture, serve as visual reminders of the path to wisdom. His image inspires those who seek understanding and provides a model of how wisdom can be embodied in daily life. The stories of Manjushri, with their rich symbolism and deep meaning, offer guidance to those striving to navigate the complexities of life with clarity and insight. Manjushri's mythology is more than just a collection of stories, it is a living testament to the transformative power of wisdom. Through his legends and attributes, he teaches that wisdom is not a distant or abstract concept, but a practical and accessible quality that can illuminate our path and guide us toward a deeper understanding of ourselves and the world around us. In the quiet corners of Buddhist temples and the heart of many believers lies a hope that transcends the present moment, a hope for the arrival of Maitreya, the future Buddha. Mithraia's story is not just a tale of distant prophecies, but a beacon of hope and renewal, inspiring countless individuals across generations. Mithraia's presence in Buddhist mythology is marked by profound prophecies and a promise of transformation. According to ancient texts, Mithraia is destined to be the next Buddha who will come to earth when the teachings of the current Buddha, Shakyamuni, have faded and the world is in great need of guidance. His arrival is prophesied to bring a new era of peace, enlightenment, and spiritual renewal. The anticipation of Mithraia's coming is not merely about a future event, but a symbol of the potential for profound change and the hope that even in the darkest times, there is a promise of light. The story of Mithraia begins with a vision of him residing in the Tushita heaven, a realm of bliss where he waits patiently for the right moment to descend to the earthly realm. This waiting period is not one of idleness, but of preparation. Mithraia's existence in Tushita is a testament to his immense compassion and the depth of his commitment to help all beings. He is seen as a compassionate figure who, despite being in a state of perfect happiness, chooses to remain in the heavenly realm, awaiting the right time to guide humanity through a period of great transformation. Mithraia's role in Buddhist eschatology is deeply symbolic. He represents the promise of a future where suffering and confusion will be alleviated and true wisdom will be rediscovered. The prophecies tell of a time when human society will face great trials and tribulations, a time when moral and spiritual decay will seem overwhelming. It is during this period of darkness that Mithraia will appear, bringing with him the teachings and insights needed to guide humanity towards a new era of enlightenment. His arrival is envisioned as a profound shift, a moment when the seeds of hope are sown and a new chapter of wisdom begins. In artistic depictions, Mithraia is often shown seated on a throne, waiting patiently, with a serene and reassuring presence. He is sometimes depicted with a broad smile, symbolizing the joy and compassion he will bring when he finally arrives. This imagery serves as a reminder that hope and compassion are ever present, even if they are not immediately visible. The vision of Mithraia's future arrival inspires faith in the possibility of renewal and the power of benevolence. The prophecies surrounding Mithraia are not just about a distant future, but also about the spiritual journey of individuals. They remind us that even as we navigate our own challenges and uncertainties, there is always the promise of a brighter future. Mithraia's story encourages believers to hold on to hope, to cultivate virtues of compassion and wisdom in their lives, and to prepare themselves for the eventual arrival of a new era of enlightenment. Mithraia's mythology also emphasizes the cyclical nature of time and the ever-present potential for transformation. His story is a powerful reminder that even in the face of adversity, there is always a path towards renewal and growth. His future arrival is a symbol of the enduring hope that guides human hearts, reassuring them that the quest for enlightenment and the promise of a better world are timeless and ever relevant. In essence, the mythology of Mithraia offers a profound message of hope and renewal. His story is a testament to the enduring belief that even as we face challenges and uncertainties, the potential for transformation and the promise of a brighter future are always within reach. Mithraia's presence in Buddhist mythology serves as a guiding light, inspiring faith and perseverance as we await the arrival of a new era of wisdom and compassion. In the heart of the Tibetan Himalayas, where the air is crisp and the spirit of the land is ancient, a vibrant tapestry of deities weaves through the practice of Tibetan Buddhism. These deities, each with their own rich stories and profound significance, form a divine family whose presence fills the daily lives of Tibetan practitioners with hope, guidance, and protection. At the center of the Tibetan pantheon stands Tara, a goddess of compassion whose presence is both nurturing and fierce. Tara's legends speak of her incredible vows to assist all beings in distress. One story recounts her transformation into a bodhisattva from a princess who vowed to remain in the cycle of rebirth until all beings were freed from suffering. This selfless promise embodies the very essence of compassion. Tara's multiple forms, each with different colors and attributes, reflect her ability to respond to the diverse needs of those who call upon her. She is known to come swiftly to the aid of those who are in danger or who seek guidance, offering a sense of immediate and tangible help. Another revered deity is Avalokiteshvara, the Bodhisattva of compassion, whose thousand-armed form symbolizes his boundless capacity to reach out and help all beings in need. The myth of Avalokiteshvara's compassion highlights his vow to assist every sentient being, even at the cost of his own enlightenment. His role in Tibetan Buddhism is both protective and guiding. Avalokiteshvara is invoked in times of crisis, and his mantra, Om Mani Padme Hum, is chanted for peace and the alleviation of suffering. The deity Yamantaka, known as the conqueror of death, represents the triumph over fear and the cycles of rebirth. His fierce appearance, often depicted with multiple heads and arms, symbolizes his power to overcome the ultimate obstacle to enlightenment, death itself. Yamantaka's myths reveal his role as a protector, guiding practitioners through the fears and uncertainties that arise on the path to enlightenment. His presence is a reminder that even the most daunting challenges can be faced with courage and determination. Among the many deities, Manjushri, the Bodhisattva of wisdom, stands out as a source of profound insight. His legend tells of his acquisition of supreme wisdom through deep meditation and his vow to share this wisdom with all beings. Manjushri's wisdom is not just about intellectual knowledge, but about the profound understanding of reality that can lead to true liberation. His role in Tibetan Buddhism involves guiding practitioners towards a deeper comprehension of the nature of existence and helping them cultivate the clarity needed to navigate their spiritual path. In Tibetan Buddhism, each deity is not just a figure to be revered, but a living presence with whom practitioners form a relationship. These deities are believed to interact with the world in real, tangible ways, offering guidance, protection, and blessings. They are invoked in rituals and prayers, their stories and attributes woven into daily practices that seek to connect practitioners with the divine. The deities of the Tibetan pantheon serve as both inspiration and aid, embodying qualities that practitioners aspire to develop within themselves. The myths surrounding these deities are not merely historical tales, but are deeply relevant to the spiritual lives of practitioners. These stories offer a source of strength and comfort, reminding individuals of the divine support available to them as they navigate the challenges of life. The presence of these deities in Tibetan Buddhism reflects a profound belief in the interconnectedness of all beings and the power of divine compassion and wisdom. They are seen as active participants in the spiritual journey, helping to guide and protect those who seek their aid. The vibrant stories and rich symbolism of the Tibetan pantheon resonate deeply, offering a source of inspiration and solace to countless practitioners who find comfort in the divine guidance of these revered figures. In the quiet moments of reverence and hope within Tibetan Buddhism, the figure of Tara shines with a light of profound compassion and unwavering support. Her story is one of remarkable courage and boundless love, touching the hearts of those who seek her guidance and protection. Tara's origin is nothing short of extraordinary. According to legend, she was born from the tears of Avalokiteshvara, the Bodhisattva of compassion. As the story goes, Avalokiteshvara wept in despair over the suffering of beings in the world. From these tears, Tara emerged as a radiant goddess, embodying the very essence of compassion he felt. This miraculous birth signifies Tara's deep connection to the heart of suffering and her unyielding commitment to alleviate it. Tara is often depicted in various forms, each one symbolizing different aspects of her compassionate nature. The most widely known forms are Green Tara and White Tara. Green Tara is dynamic and vigorous, representing active compassion and the power to swiftly respond to the cries of those in distress. Her emerald hue reflects her ability to overcome obstacles and fears, and she is often depicted with one leg extended, ready to leap into action at a moment's notice. In times of personal crisis or danger, invoking Green Tara's name can bring a sense of immediate relief and strength. White Tara, on the other hand, embodies serene compassion and long life. She is often shown with 7 eyes, 2 on her face, and 1 on each palm and sole, symbolizing her ability to see and respond to suffering everywhere, in all its forms. Her calm presence is a beacon of peace and tranquility, offering solace to those who are experiencing deep grief or illness. White Tara's gentle, nurturing qualities are a reminder of the enduring nature of compassion and the promise of healing and comfort. The stories of Tara's deeds are filled with examples of her selfless actions. One tale tells of her vow to assist all beings until the end of time, pledging to remain in the cycle of rebirth to guide and help those in need. This vow is a powerful testament to her boundless compassion and dedication. In another story, Tara is said to have saved countless beings from dangers and hardships, her presence a source of immediate and tangible aid to those who invoke her name. Tara's various forms are not just different manifestations, but are deeply interconnected expressions of her unwavering commitment to helping others. Each form of Tara is a reflection of her ability to address specific needs and challenges faced by sentient beings. Whether it is the active, dynamic green Tara or the serene, healing white Tara, each form represents a facet of the same profound compassion that Tara embodies. The devotion to Tara is deeply rooted in her ability to offer both immediate and long-term support. Her stories and attributes inspire faith and provide comfort, reminding practitioners that they are never alone in their struggles. Her presence is a reminder of the divine support that surrounds and guides them, helping them to find strength and hope in the face of adversity. In the practice of Tibetan Buddhism, invoking Tara's presence through prayer and meditation brings a deep sense of connection and reassurance. Her many forms and stories resonate with the universal human experience of seeking relief from suffering and finding solace in moments of difficulty. Tara's legacy is one of boundless compassion and active support, touching the hearts of those who call upon her and providing a beacon of hope in their spiritual journey. Tara's mythology is not merely a collection of stories, but a living testament to the power of compassion and the promise of divine assistance. Her various forms and attributes serve as a reminder of the depth of her love and the countless ways in which she offers help to those in need. Through her presence, Tara continues to inspire and guide, making her a beloved figure in the hearts of many. In the sacred heart of Buddhist temples, where prayer flags flutter in the wind and incense weaves through the air, stand the four guardian kings, mighty protectors whose stories resonate with ancient power and unwavering devotion. These formidable deities, known as the Dikpalas, each guard a cardinal direction, and their presence is a living testament to the protection and reverence that the Buddhist teachings command. The four guardian kings are more than just statues, they are ancient sentinels charged with an eternal mission. Each king embodies a unique role and purpose, working together to safeguard the teachings of the Buddha and the spiritual well-being of those who follow them. First is Vairocana, the guardian of the East. His legend speaks of a majestic being whose strength and wisdom were unrivaled. Vairocana is not just a protector but a symbol of enlightenment and divine clarity. His presence in the East represents the dawning of spiritual wisdom, the light that dispels ignorance and darkness. In the stories, Vairocana is depicted as a fierce warrior, his gaze penetrating the shadows of delusion, ensuring that the teachings of the Buddha remain untainted by the forces of ignorance. To the south stands Virudika, the guardian of growth and protection. His role is both nurturing and protective, symbolizing the growth of the Dharma, the teachings of the Buddha. Virudika's stories tell of his ability to foster the development of spiritual practices and protect the community from harm. His presence ensures that the teachings flourish and that those who follow the path can grow in wisdom and compassion. His guardianship is a promise that the teachings will thrive, providing nourishment for all who seek the path to enlightenment. In the west reigns Dhritarashtra, the guardian of the law and order. His name means protector of the realm, and his role is to uphold the Dharma with unwavering dedication. Dhritarashtra's myths tell of his vigilant watch over the Buddhist teachings and the practitioners who follow them. His presence symbolizes the stability and righteousness that the Dharma brings to the world. Dhritarashtra's watchful eyes and strong presence ensure that the teachings are safeguarded from corruption and that justice and order prevail in the spiritual realm. Finally, in the north stands Kabura, the guardian of wealth and abundance. His role is often misunderstood, as he is not merely the keeper of material wealth, but the guardian of spiritual richness. Kabura's stories speak of his ability to ensure that the teachings are not only preserved, but are also enriched and supported by the abundance of spiritual resources. His presence in the north symbolizes the fulfillment and prosperity that come from following the path of Dharma, ensuring that practitioners have the means to support their spiritual journey. Together, The four guardian kings represent a powerful force of protection, their stories interwoven with the very fabric of Buddhist practice. They are not just distant figures, but active participants in the spiritual life of practitioners, embodying the values of wisdom, growth, order, and abundance. Their role extends beyond mere guardianship. They are living symbols of the strength and support that the teachings of Buddhism offer to those who uphold them. Their significance is profound. By protecting the teachings and those who follow them, the four guardian kings ensure that the path to enlightenment remains clear and unobstructed. Their vigilance serves as a reminder that the spiritual journey is supported by divine forces, and their stories inspire practitioners to remain steadfast in their commitment to the Dharma. In the presence of these mighty protectors, practitioners find a sense of security and encouragement. The stories of the four guardian kings are more than just ancient myths. They are powerful reminders of the support and protection that surround those who seek to live by the teachings of the Buddha. Their roles as guardians are a testament to the reverence and dedication with which the teachings are held, ensuring that they continue to guide and inspire all who walk the path of enlightenment. In the lush, mist-shrouded forests of ancient tales, the Naga kings slither through the undergrowth of Buddhist mythology, their stories intertwined with the fabric of the spiritual world. These mythical serpentine beings, often depicted with the upper body of a human and the lower body of a serpent, carry an aura of mystery and ancient wisdom. Their role in Buddhist tradition is as captivating as it is profound, and their interactions with the Buddha and other revered figures are marked by both reverence and wonder. The Nagas are more than just mythical creatures, they are revered as powerful protectors of the Dharma. Their role in Buddhist tradition is deeply symbolic. As guardians of treasures, both material and spiritual, the Nagas are believed to possess great wisdom and to hold the key to hidden knowledge. Their serpentine form represents the profound and often hidden depths of the spiritual journey, while their wisdom embodies the transformative power of enlightenment. One of the most touching stories involving the Nagas is their encounter with the Buddha shortly after his enlightenment. Legend has it that after the Buddha attained enlightenment, he sat beneath the Bodhi tree, surrounded by a host of celestial beings. It was during this time that a massive storm arose, with thunder and lightning filling the sky. The Buddha remained serene, his mind focused and untroubled. As the storm raged, the Naga king Mukulenda, a mighty serpent deity, emerged from his dwelling beneath the earth. With great compassion, Mukulenda wrapped his large coils around the Buddha, shielding him from the torrential rain and providing a protective canopy with his expanded hood. This gesture of protection was not just a display of physical shelter, but a symbolic act of reverence and support. The Naga king's actions conveyed a deep respect for the Buddha's achievement and a commitment to protecting the newly awakened teachings. It is said that the storm subsided once the Naga king's protective embrace was complete, and the Buddha emerged, refreshed and unperturbed, a testament to the harmony between the earthly and divine realms. Another significant figure among the Nagas is Naga King Nagasena. His story is intimately connected with the Buddha's teachings. Nagasena, known for his wisdom and profound understanding, once visited King Milinda, who was troubled by spiritual doubts. During their encounter, Nagasena used his deep knowledge to clarify and illuminate the king's confusion, demonstrating the Naga's role as both protector and teacher of the Dharma. This encounter highlighted the Naga's role in aiding the Buddha's mission by ensuring that his teachings reached and resonated with those in power and positions of influence. The Nagas also play a role in safeguarding sacred places and scriptures. In various tales, they are depicted as guardians of hidden Buddhist treasures, including ancient texts and relics. Their presence ensures that these sacred objects remain protected from those who might misuse or disrespect them. This role emphasizes their function as custodians of spiritual knowledge and their commitment to preserving the purity and sanctity of the Dharma. Despite their often fearsome appearance, the Nagas are also seen as benevolent beings, embodying the dual nature of protection and wisdom. They are believed to possess the power to influence weather patterns and control natural elements, reflecting their deep connection with the forces of nature. Their interaction with the Buddha and other spiritual figures is a reminder of the profound interconnectedness between the natural and spiritual worlds. The mythology of the Naga kings is more than a collection of ancient stories. It is a vibrant tapestry of reverence, protection, and wisdom. Their interactions with the Buddha and other figures are a testament to their important role in the Buddhist tradition, symbolizing the harmony between the human realm and the divine. Through their actions and stories, the Nagas remind us of the deeper layers of existence and the protective presence that guides and supports the path to enlightenment. Their enduring legacy continues to inspire and resonate, offering a glimpse into the mystical and transformative power of Buddhist mythology. In the vast and intricate tapestry of Buddhist cosmology, the universe unfolds like a grand, majestic scroll, each layer filled with awe and wonder. At its heart, Buddhist cosmology portrays a universe that is both boundless and profoundly structured, weaving together layers of mythological realms and divine realms into a coherent and deeply symbolic whole. The Buddhist universe is not a static or fixed place, but a dynamic and ever-changing continuum. It is often depicted as a vast, multi-tiered structure, with Mount Meru at its center, a cosmic axis around which everything revolves. Mount Meru is not just a physical mountain but a sacred center that holds the universe together, surrounded by concentric rings of oceans and continents. It represents the axis of spiritual enlightenment, a beacon of truth and wisdom in the cosmic expanse. Around Mount Meru, there are 4 great continents, each associated with different levels of existence and inhabited by various beings. These continents, known as Jambudvipa, Purvavidaha, Aparagodania, and Uttarakuru, are not merely geographical locations but embody different aspects of spiritual and moral dimensions. Jambudvipa, where humans dwell, is a place of both suffering and potential for enlightenment. It is depicted as a land full of struggles and challenges, but also opportunities for growth and realization. Purvavidaha and Aparagodania, on the other hand, are lands of bliss and comfort, where beings experience the fruits of their good karma, while Uttarakuru is seen as a realm of great prosperity and virtue. Above these earthly realms, the universe stretches into the heavens, where celestial beings reside. The higher realms are places of great spiritual achievement and tranquility, inhabited by gods and deities who live in states of near-perfect bliss. Among these celestial realms is the Trayastrimsa heaven, ruled by the god Indra, where the Buddha is believed to have given teachings to his mother. This heavenly realm reflects the aspiration for spiritual heights and the rewards of living a life aligned with virtue and wisdom. Yet, the Buddhist cosmology does not only celebrate celestial realms but also acknowledges the existence of various hellish realms. These are places of intense suffering and torment, where beings experience the consequences of their negative actions. The hells are not eternal but are seen as temporary states where souls undergo purification through suffering. They serve as a reminder of the law of karma and the importance of ethical living. In the vast Buddhist cosmos, the mythological realms are not isolated but interconnected through a network of spiritual influence. The deities and beings inhabiting these realms play crucial roles in the cosmic order, influencing the balance between suffering and joy, wisdom and ignorance. Their interactions are emblematic of the dynamic interplay between different aspects of existence and the continuous cycle of birth, death, and rebirth. The structure of the Buddhist universe reflects a profound spiritual truth that all things are interrelated and that every action has consequences that ripple through the fabric of existence. The realms of bliss and suffering, wisdom and ignorance, are woven together into a grand cosmic dance, illustrating the interconnectedness of all life and the impact of one's actions on the broader universe. This mythological landscape, with its vivid depictions of cosmic order and divine realms, invites contemplation and reverence. It challenges us to reflect on our place within this vast expanse and to understand the spiritual significance of our actions. The Buddhist cosmology is a mirror of the inner journey toward enlightenment, showing that every realm and every being is a reflection of the profound truths that guide us toward a greater understanding of ourselves and the universe. In this grand cosmic drama, every being, every realm, and every action is a part of the intricate web of existence, each contributing to the unfolding story of the universe. The Buddhist cosmology, with its rich tapestry of mythological realms and divine interactions, offers a deeply touching and inspiring view of the world, reminding us of the beauty and complexity of the spiritual journey. In the heart of Buddhist mythology, where compassion and wisdom intertwine, bodhisattvas shine as the guiding stars. Their stories, filled with courage and selflessness, echo through the ages, touching hearts and inspiring countless souls. These revered beings embody the essence of boundless compassion and the relentless pursuit of enlightenment for the sake of all living beings. Among the bodhisattvas, Avalokiteshvara stands as a beacon of infinite mercy. Often depicted with 1,000 arms, each hand reaching out to help those in need, Avalokiteshvara embodies the compassionate response to the cries of the world. His very essence is woven from the threads of empathy, reaching into every corner of existence to alleviate suffering. Legend speaks of his vow to liberate all beings from the cycle of birth and rebirth, a promise so profound that it inspires awe and reverence. His presence is a reminder that even amidst the deepest despair, there is a light that never fades, a hand that never withdraws. Manjushri, the bodhisattva of wisdom, shines with a radiance that cuts through ignorance like a sword of enlightenment. He is often portrayed holding a flaming sword in one hand and a scripture in the other, symbolizing the power of wisdom to dispel darkness and the guiding light of knowledge. Manjushri's vows are centered around the quest for wisdom and understanding, not just for himself but for the enlightenment of all beings. His commitment to unraveling the complexities of existence and illuminating the path to wisdom is a testament to the transformative power of insight and learning. Then there is Tara, a bodhisattva known for her swift and compassionate action. With her many forms, including the green Tara and the white Tara, she represents the myriad ways in which compassion can manifest. Tara's vows are deeply rooted in her desire to aid those who are suffering and to swiftly respond to their needs. Her very presence is a living embodiment of the idea that compassion is not just a passive feeling but an active force for change, constantly moving to relieve the suffering of others. The concept of bodhisattva vows is both profound and touching. These vows are not just promises but deep, heartfelt commitments made with a selfless resolve to help others. A bodhisattva vows to achieve enlightenment not just for personal liberation but to be a beacon of hope and aid to all beings. This path requires a profound strength and unwavering dedication, as the bodhisattva pledges to remain in the cycle of rebirth to continue aiding others until every being is free from suffering. These vows carry immense implications. They challenge us to view our lives through the lens of compassion and service, urging us to extend our efforts beyond our own struggles and to contribute to the well-being of others. The bodhisattva path is a call to transform one's own life into a vessel of kindness and wisdom, embodying the very essence of selfless love and commitment. In every tale of a bodhisattva, there is a story of sacrifice and unwavering resolve. Each bodhisattva embodies a unique aspect of the divine compassion that reaches out to alleviate suffering and guide souls toward enlightenment. Their stories are not just historical accounts but living, breathing examples of how one's actions can resonate through time, making a difference in the lives of countless beings. These mythological figures serve as reminders that the pursuit of enlightenment is not a solitary journey but a collective endeavor that touches every corner of existence. The role of bodhisattvas in Buddhist mythology is a source of profound inspiration. Their lives, filled with acts of boundless compassion and wisdom, offer a powerful testament to the potential for goodness and change within every person. As we reflect on their stories and their vows, we are reminded of the power of compassion to transform lives and the enduring hope that, through selfless action, we can create a world where suffering is alleviated and enlightenment is realized. In the vast and intricate tapestry of Buddhist mythology, the concept of hell realms, or nirvana, serves as a sobering reminder of the consequences of our actions. These realms are not merely places of punishment but vivid, poignant illustrations of the suffering that arises from living a life rooted in cruelty, hatred, and ignorance. Imagine a world where the very air burns with the intensity of suffering, where the ground is scorching and unyielding, and where the cries of anguish echo endlessly through the void. This is the essence of nirvana. Here, the suffering is both physical and mental, a reflection of the pain and torment caused by one's actions in previous lives. These realms are not fixed locations, but manifestations of the suffering we inflict upon ourselves and others through our choices and deeds. One of the most harrowing depictions is the realm of the hot hell, where the temperature rises to unbearable levels. Picture a place where flames lick at every surface, and the heat is so intense that it feels as though every inch of one's being is being consumed by fire. The inhabitants of this realm are trapped in a cycle of burning and regeneration, endlessly suffering as a consequence of their past actions. This fiery torment is a stark portrayal of the impact of anger and hatred, serving as a vivid reminder of the harm these emotions can inflict. Another realm, the cold hell, offers a chilling contrast. Here, the air is so frigid that it feels as though one's very bones are turning to ice. Inhabitants are condemned to endure an eternal freeze, their bodies becoming stiff and brittle from the cold. The frigid temperatures symbolize the numbness and emotional isolation that can result from a life lived without compassion or empathy. It is a place where the coldness of the heart manifests into a physical reality, illustrating the profound impact of emotional detachment and cruelty. Then there are realms filled with ceaseless torment inflicted by demonic beings or mythical creatures, each punishment tailored to the nature of the misdeeds committed. In these places, the suffering is relentless and personalized, reflecting the unique ways in which the negative actions of the past have shaped the present torment. The cruelty faced in these realms is a powerful metaphor for the suffering we cause each other through acts of violence and hatred. The stories and depictions of these hell realms are not just about fear or intimidation, they are designed to teach important moral lessons. They serve as a powerful reminder of the consequences of our actions and the importance of living a life guided by compassion and wisdom. By presenting such vivid images of suffering, these stories encourage us to reflect on our own actions and their potential impact on others. The concept of nirvana also emphasizes the impermanence of all states of existence. Even within these realms of intense suffering, there is the underlying principle that no state is permanent. The suffering in nirvana is a result of past actions, and just as it arose, it can eventually cease with the cultivation of positive actions and the development of compassionate understanding. This impermanence offers a glimmer of hope, even in the darkest of realms, highlighting that change and redemption are always possible. In the end, the mythology of Buddhist hell realms serves as a profound tool for self-reflection and moral guidance. The graphic depictions of suffering are meant to stir the soul and inspire a deep sense of responsibility for one's actions. They remind us that our choices matter, that the path we tread has real consequences, and that through the cultivation of compassion, wisdom, and kindness, we can steer ourselves away from such realms of suffering. In the quiet corners of Buddhist mythology, spirits and demons whisper tales of longing, torment, and redemption. These beings are not mere figments of imagination, but vivid embodiments of inner struggles and moral lessons. Their stories intertwine with those of Buddha and his followers, offering profound insights into the human condition. The pretas, or spirits of insatiable hunger, are haunting figures in Buddhist lore. They are depicted as beings with distended bellies and thin necks, forever suffering from unquenchable thirst and hunger. Imagine a spirit with a throat so narrow that it can barely swallow, yet its stomach is an abyss of emptiness. These spirits are often shown endlessly reaching for food or water that turns to flames or dirt when touched. Their plight is a metaphor for the cravings and desires that plague human life, illustrating the pain of unfulfilled wants and the suffering that arises from greed. One story recounts the tale of a king who, after death, found himself in the realm of the pretas. In his previous life, he had been a man of wealth and power but had indulged in greed and selfishness. Now, he faced the consequences of his actions. He tried to drink from a river of milk, but it turned to ash as soon as it touched his lips. His eternal hunger was a stark reflection of the emptiness that had filled his heart during his lifetime, teaching a powerful lesson about the perils of attachment and greed. On the other side of the mythological spectrum are the Rakshasas, or demons. These are beings often associated with malice, disruption, and chaos. They are described as fearsome creatures with terrifying features, sometimes possessing multiple heads or limbs. Their interactions with the Buddha are marked by attempts to obstruct his path or challenge his teachings. Yet, these encounters are not merely confrontations of good versus evil, they are profound lessons in overcoming inner demons and external obstacles. One of the most striking tales involves the demon Mara, who represents the embodiment of fear and temptation. Mara's attempts to distract and sway the Buddha from his path to enlightenment are legendary. He sends beautiful visions and tempting illusions to derail the Buddha's meditation, hoping to make him abandon his quest for wisdom. Despite Mara's efforts, the Buddha remains resolute, overcoming these temptations and achieving enlightenment. This story illustrates the power of inner resolve and the importance of persisting through challenges and distractions on the path to self-realization. The encounters between Buddha and these mythical beings often lead to transformations. For example, Mara's ultimate defeat signifies the triumph of wisdom over ignorance and fear. The demons, though fearsome, are eventually subdued or transformed by the Buddha's teachings, symbolizing the potential for change and redemption even in the darkest of circumstances. In the lives of Buddhist practitioners, spirits and demons are seen not just as supernatural entities, but as manifestations of internal conflicts and moral dilemmas. The pretas represent our own unfulfilled desires and the suffering they bring, while the Rakshasas embody the fears and obstacles that can hinder spiritual growth. By confronting these mythological beings, practitioners confront their own inner turmoil and learn to navigate the complexities of their own minds. The stories of spirits and demons in Buddhist mythology are more than tales of ancient beings, they are reflections of the inner battles every individual faces. They remind us that the struggles with desire, fear, and ignorance are universal and that overcoming these challenges is essential for spiritual progress. Through these narratives, we understand that the path to enlightenment is not just about confronting external forces, but also about grappling with the shadows within ourselves. In the heart of Buddhist mythology, the stories of saints and enlightened beings resonate with profound emotion and timeless wisdom. These figures are not just historical personalities, but vessels of divine grace and transformative power, embodying the highest aspirations of spiritual practice and enlightenment. Among these revered figures, one name stands out with an almost ethereal glow: Avalokiteshvara, the Bodhisattva of compassion. In countless tales, Avalokiteshvara is depicted as a figure of boundless empathy, whose compassion knows no limits. One poignant story tells of a time when Avalokiteshvara vowed to save all sentient beings from suffering. Yet, despite his tireless efforts, he saw the vast number of souls trapped in pain and despair and felt overwhelmed. According to the myth, his head split into 11 pieces in anguish over his perceived failure. In response, the Buddha granted him 11 heads to better hear the cries of the world, and 1,000 arms to help those in need. Each hand is said to hold a lotus flower, symbolizing purity and compassion, and each of his eyes represents his ceaseless vigilance over the suffering of others. His story reflects an eternal promise to alleviate suffering and the incredible sacrifices made to fulfill that promise. Then there is the tale of Milarepa, a Tibetan saint whose life is a journey from darkness to enlightenment. Born into a wealthy family, Milarepa's life took a tragic turn when he lost everything and sought revenge on his enemies. Driven by remorse, he renounced his past and dedicated himself to spiritual practice in the mountains. Milarepa's path was filled with trials, from harsh winters to intense meditation. One story recounts how he survived on nothing but nettles and achieved profound spiritual insights despite the grueling conditions. His miracles, such as flying through the air and producing rain through his prayers, are seen not merely as supernatural feats but as expressions of his deep mastery over the mind and nature. His life and teachings inspire countless followers, showing that even those with troubled pasts can attain enlightenment through sincere effort and devotion. Another touching story is that of Kshitigarbha, the bodhisattva who vowed to help beings in the hell realms until they were all liberated. Kshitigarbha is often depicted with a staff and a wish-fulfilling jewel, which symbolize his dedication to guiding souls trapped in suffering. His vow was so profound that he promised to remain in the hell realms until all beings were freed, a pledge that speaks to his unwavering commitment to compassion. Stories of Kshitigarbha's miraculous interventions in dire situations highlight his role as a savior for those who are lost and suffering, reinforcing the idea that no being is beyond the reach of compassion and help. In the vibrant tapestry of Buddhist saints, the miraculous acts performed by these enlightened beings serve as more than just awe-inspiring tales. They carry deep spiritual significance, illustrating the power of faith, perseverance, and compassion. The miracles of these saints are often not just displays of supernatural ability but are deeply intertwined with their teachings. They demonstrate the possibility of transcending ordinary limitations and offer a glimpse into the potential for transformation that lies within every individual. The stories of these enlightened beings touch the heart because they embody the essence of compassion, sacrifice, and spiritual triumph. Each tale, whether it involves Avalokiteshvara's boundless compassion, Milarepa's arduous journey from darkness to light, or Kshitigarbha's solemn vow to aid the suffering, is a testament to the profound impact of genuine spiritual practice. They remind us that enlightenment is not a distant dream but a reachable reality through sincere effort and boundless compassion. These saints, with their miraculous deeds and profound teachings, stand as beacons of hope and inspiration. They illuminate the path for countless practitioners, showing that even in the midst of suffering and challenges, there is a possibility for redemption and spiritual awakening. Their stories continue to inspire, guiding followers towards the light of wisdom and compassion, and proving that the power of the human spirit, when touched by the divine, can achieve the extraordinary. In the heart of ancient India, where the sacred rivers flow and the echoes of prayers fill the air, Hindu and Buddhist myths intertwine like the branches of an ancient tree, their stories weaving together to create a rich tapestry of spiritual tradition. Both religions, emerging from a shared cultural and spiritual milieu, have influenced each other profoundly, blending their myths and deities in ways that reveal a deep and poignant connection. One of the most striking examples of this shared heritage is found in the figure of Avalokiteshvara, a bodhisattva of compassion in Buddhism, whose attributes and tales echo those of Hindu deities. In Hinduism, the concept of a compassionate deity is embodied in figures such as Vishnu, who takes on various avatars to protect and preserve Dharma. Similarly, Avalokiteshvara is depicted as a being of infinite compassion, often shown with multiple arms and eyes, symbolizing his ability to reach out to all beings in need. This imagery reflects a deep-rooted cultural idea that transcends individual religious boundaries, suggesting a universal archetype of divine compassion. The story of Avalokiteshvara's transformation into the Tibetan deity Chenrezig illustrates how Hindu elements have been absorbed and adapted in Buddhist mythology. Chenrezig, revered in Tibetan Buddhism, is essentially Avalokiteshvara in a Tibetan guise. His story, marked by his vow to help all sentient beings, mirrors the Hindu belief in the divine taking on forms to alleviate suffering. This cross-pollination of ideas highlights how the core themes of compassion and protection have been preserved and transformed across religious traditions. Another fascinating convergence occurs with the deity Tara. In Hinduism, Tara is a form of the goddess Parvati, known for her protective and nurturing qualities. In Buddhism, Tara emerges as a revered bodhisattva of compassion and action, with her own distinct set of attributes and stories. Buddhist Tara, often depicted in her green and white forms, embodies the same nurturing spirit but with a focus on aiding practitioners in their spiritual journeys. This transformation from a Hindu goddess to a Buddhist bodhisattva reflects a deep integration of Hindu concepts into Buddhist practice, adapting and expanding them to fit new spiritual contexts. The concept of cosmic battles and divine interventions also sees a blending of traditions. Hindu mythology is rich with stories of gods battling demons, such as Vishnu's fight with the demon Mahishasura. Buddhism, while focusing more on the path to enlightenment, incorporates similar themes of cosmic struggle in its own mythological framework. Stories of Buddha battling Mara, the embodiment of illusion and temptation, mirror the Hindu cosmic battles, symbolizing the struggle against ignorance and delusion. This shared motif underscores a common understanding of the spiritual journey as one of overcoming great obstacles. One cannot overlook the influence of Hindu cosmology on Buddhist views of the universe. Both traditions describe a multi-layered cosmos filled with divine realms, celestial beings, and hellish realms. Hindu cosmology's elaborate descriptions of heavens and hells have parallels in Buddhist cosmology, where realms such as the Deva and Naraka realms reflect similar ideas of cosmic order and moral consequences. The Buddhist depiction of these realms often borrows from the Hindu vision but adds its unique interpretations and teachings, illustrating how Buddhist mythology has transformed and recontextualized Hindu elements. Even the structure of Buddhist monasticism, with its focus on vows and disciplines, has roots in Hindu ascetic practices. The Buddhist monastic path, emphasizing renunciation and meditation, shares similarities with Hindu ascetic traditions, where sages undertake rigorous practices to attain spiritual liberation. The integration of these practices into Buddhism demonstrates how spiritual disciplines have been adapted and evolved, preserving core values while creating a distinct path to enlightenment. In the rich interplay between Hinduism and Buddhism, the stories and deities from one tradition find echoes and new meanings in the other. This dynamic exchange of ideas highlights a profound spiritual dialogue where compassion, wisdom, and cosmic order are celebrated and reimagined. The shared myths and deities, though transformed, reveal a deep connection between these traditions, reflecting a shared quest for understanding and transcending the human experience. Through their integration and transformation, these stories continue to inspire and touch hearts across cultures, showing that the quest for spiritual truth transcends religious boundaries and speaks to a universal longing for enlightenment and compassion. Amid the ancient landscapes where the echoes of prayers mingle with the rustling of leaves, lie sacred sites that hold stories of profound significance in Buddhist tradition. These places are not merely physical locations, but are imbued with the essence of deep spiritual truths and the very presence of the Buddha. Each site is a living testament to the journey of enlightenment, holding within its bounds the whispers of ages past and the heartbeats of countless pilgrims. One such site is Bodh Gaya, the place where Siddhartha Gautama achieved enlightenment beneath the Bodhi tree. It is here that the earth trembled, the skies opened, and the Buddha, through relentless meditation, awakened to the profound truths of existence. This ancient tree, its roots entwined with the soil, stands as a silent witness to the moment when the darkness of ignorance was pierced by the light of enlightenment. Pilgrims from around the world visit Bodh Gaya, walking the path of the Buddha, each step a reverent echo of that monumental moment when a prince became a teacher for all humanity. Another sacred site is Lumbini, the birthplace of the Buddha. Here, a serene garden cradles the exact spot where Queen Mayadevi gave birth to Siddhartha. As you stand in this tranquil space, you can almost feel the weight of history, the soft breeze carrying whispers of a new beginning. The Mayadevi temple marks this sacred moment, its ancient walls holding the warmth of the birth of a being who would change the course of history. The site of the sacred pool nearby, where it is believed that Queen Maya bathed before giving birth, adds a layer of sacredness to the site, making it a living tribute to the miraculous arrival of the Buddha. Sarnath is another poignant site, where the Buddha delivered his first sermon after attaining enlightenment. This place, once a forest clearing, is now adorned with the majestic Dhammik Stupa, marking the spot where the Buddha shared his insights with the first 5 disciples. The serene environment of Sarnath, with its ancient ruins and the gentle hum of the winds, carries the echoes of that first sermon. It is here that the Buddha spoke of the 4 noble truths and the Eightfold Path, laying the foundation for the teachings that would guide countless beings toward liberation. The site of the stupa, standing tall and unwavering, is a powerful reminder of the Buddha's message and the beginning of the spread of his teachings. The significance of relics in Buddhism is as profound as the stories associated with these sacred sites. Relics, believed to be the physical remains of the Buddha or revered monks, are cherished with deep reverence. The relics are not mere objects, but are considered the living embodiment of the Buddha's spiritual presence. They are treated with the utmost respect, housed in ornate stupas and temples, where they become focal points for meditation and worship. One of the most famous relics is the Buddha's tooth relic, enshrined in the Temple of the Tooth in Kandy, Sri Lanka. This relic is venerated as a symbol of the Buddha's enduring presence and spiritual power. It is said that the relic was hidden in the ashes of a funeral pyre and later discovered, its journey reflecting the protection and reverence accorded to it. The temple, with its intricate carvings and the deep hum of devotional chants, serves as a beacon of faith and a reminder of the Buddha's teachings. Another significant relic is the Sarira relics, the crystal-like remains that are said to be found among the ashes of the Buddha's cremation. These relics, distributed among various stupas and temples, are believed to hold the essence of the Buddha's wisdom and compassion. Each relic, whether it is a small fragment or a perfectly shaped relic, is revered as a touchstone of the Buddha's spiritual presence and an inspiration for those who seek to follow his path. The significance of these sacred sites and relics extends beyond their physical presence. They are embodiments of the Buddha's teachings and the spiritual journey. The stories associated with these places and objects create a bridge between the past and the present, allowing practitioners to connect with the essence of the Buddha's enlightenment and the path to liberation. As pilgrims walk the ancient paths, touch the sacred relics, and meditate in these hallowed spaces, they partake in a timeless spiritual journey that transcends the bounds of history and geography. The reverence for these sacred sites and relics is a testament to the enduring power of the Buddha's teachings. They are not just relics of the past, but are vibrant symbols of a living tradition, offering inspiration and guidance to those who seek to understand the profound truths of existence. The stories and significance of these sacred places and objects resonate with a deep emotional and spiritual gravity, reminding us of the timeless quest for enlightenment and the enduring legacy of the Buddha's wisdom. At the heart of Buddhist symbolism lies a powerful and profound emblem, the Wheel of Dharma. This sacred wheel, or Dharma chakra, is more than a simple symbol. It is a vivid representation of the teachings of the Buddha and the path to enlightenment. Picture a wheel that spins with the rhythm of the universe, each rotation symbolizing the flow of wisdom and compassion. The wheel's hub, often adorned with intricate designs, signifies the core of Buddhist teachings, the Four Noble Truths, and the Eightfold Path. These teachings are not just abstract ideas, but the very essence of the Buddha's enlightenment, guiding followers through the labyrinth of suffering to the peace of nirvana. The Wheel of Dharma's outer rim represents the cycle of birth, death, and rebirth, known as samsara. This endless cycle, marked by suffering and illusion, is depicted through the wheel's repetitive motion. But the wheel does not merely spin in vain, it turns in a way that carries the weight of cosmic truth, constantly guiding beings towards liberation. The cycle can seem endless, but every turn of the wheel brings a new opportunity for understanding and release from the cycle of suffering. The spokes of the wheel are another crucial element. They often number 8, mirroring the Eightfold Path, the path that the Buddha prescribed to attain enlightenment. Each spoke supports the wheel, representing virtues and practices such as right understanding, right intention, right speech, and right action. These teachings act as the supports that help the wheel turn smoothly, guiding practitioners on their journey towards spiritual awakening. The harmony of the wheel's movement symbolizes the balance and integration of these virtues in one's life. The wheel's center often holds a single or a small circle, symbolizing the unity and singularity of the ultimate truth, the state of enlightenment. This central point is the unchanging essence amid the flux of the wheel's movement, representing the Buddha's realization of nirvana, where suffering ceases and profound peace is found. It stands as a beacon of hope, signifying the ultimate goal of the Buddhist path. The stories surrounding the Wheel of Dharma are rich with meaning and emotion. One such story tells of the Buddha's first sermon at Sarnath, where he set the Wheel of Dharma in motion. This pivotal moment is celebrated as the moment the wheel began its eternal spin, marking the beginning of the Buddha's teachings to the world. The wheel turning represents the spreading of the Buddha's wisdom across the universe, reaching out to all beings trapped in the cycle of samsara, offering them a chance at liberation. Another compelling story speaks of how the Wheel of Dharma was once held by the gods, demonstrating their reverence for the Buddha's teachings. In these tales, the gods themselves are depicted as aiding in the transmission of the Buddha's wisdom, emphasizing the universal importance and divine approval of the Dharma. The gods' actions in these stories underscore the profound impact of the wheel, not only in human lives, but in the celestial realms as well. As you contemplate the Wheel of Dharma, imagine it as a powerful, radiant beacon in the dark night of ignorance. Its continuous turning represents the ongoing process of learning, growth, and spiritual evolution. Every turn of the wheel is a reminder of the potential for transformation and enlightenment within each being. The wheel, with its intricate symbolism, tells a story of hope and liberation, a story that transcends time and space. The role of the Wheel of Dharma in teaching and representing Buddhist principles is profound. It serves as a constant reminder of the path to enlightenment and the teachings that guide practitioners towards it. The wheel's symbolism reinforces the interconnectedness of all aspects of the Buddhist path, illustrating how virtues and practices work together to bring about spiritual awakening. Its presence in Buddhist art and practice is a powerful testament to the enduring relevance and impact of the Buddha's teachings. In every depiction of the Wheel of Dharma, there is a profound sense of movement and energy, reflecting the dynamic and transformative nature of the Buddhist path. It is not a static symbol, but a living representation of the spiritual journey, a journey that is both individual and universal, marked by the cycles of effort, growth, and enlightenment. The Wheel of Dharma stands as a timeless symbol of the Buddha's wisdom, the path to liberation, and the eternal quest for truth. It turns with the grace of cosmic order, carrying the teachings of the Buddha to all corners of existence, inspiring and guiding those who seek the light of enlightenment in their own lives. In today's world, where ancient wisdom meets modern sensibilities, Buddhist myths have found new voices and new forms of expression. The timeless tales of enlightenment, compassion, and the quest for truth resonate powerfully even in contemporary settings. These myths, once confined to ancient texts and temples, now permeate modern literature, art, and culture, touching hearts in ways that bridge the old and the new. Visualize a cityscape where skyscrapers and ancient temples stand side by side, each contributing to the tapestry of urban life. Amid the hustle and bustle, the serene presence of Buddhist myths offers a sense of calm and introspection. They have evolved from traditional narratives into symbols of resilience and transformation in today's fast-paced world. The wisdom of the Buddha's teachings, once whispered in the quiet of monasteries, now echoes in the art on gallery walls, the stories in best-selling novels, and the messages in popular media. Take, for instance, the modern reinterpretation of the myth of Avalokiteshvara, the Bodhisattva of compassion. Traditionally depicted as a serene figure with 1,000 eyes, Avalokiteshvara symbolizes boundless compassion. In contemporary art and literature, this figure is often reimagined in ways that reflect current global issues. Artists and writers might portray Avalokiteshvara not just as a deity but as a symbol of universal compassion in the face of contemporary struggles such as climate change, social injustice, and personal hardship. Through these modern lenses, the ancient myth gains fresh relevance, encouraging people to cultivate compassion and empathy in their daily lives. Similarly, Buddhist teachings on mindfulness and the nature of suffering have inspired countless adaptations. Modern literature often draws on these themes to explore the human condition. Stories that weave in Buddhist principles offer readers profound insights into their own lives, reflecting the timeless relevance of these ancient teachings. Characters in novels might struggle with their own inner demons, only to find solace and clarity through practices reminiscent of Buddhist meditation and mindfulness. These narratives resonate deeply with readers, offering them hope and a path toward inner peace. In the realm of visual arts, Buddhist symbolism is reinterpreted in vibrant and innovative ways. Contemporary artists often infuse traditional motifs with modern aesthetics, creating pieces that are both timeless and timely. The lotus flower, symbolizing purity and enlightenment, might be depicted in bold, abstract forms that reflect the artist's personal journey in the contemporary world. Such adaptations make ancient symbols accessible and meaningful to today's audiences, inviting viewers to connect with these age-old teachings in new and profound ways. Even in popular culture, Buddhist myths and concepts have found their way into movies, television shows, and music. Filmmakers might incorporate themes of redemption and enlightenment into their stories, drawing on the rich tapestry of Buddhist mythology to enrich their narratives. Music and popular songs sometimes explore themes of inner peace and transformation, echoing the Buddha's teachings in a format that resonates with a broad audience. These cultural expressions keep the essence of Buddhist myths alive, blending ancient wisdom with the modern world's dynamic pulse. The way Buddhist myths are adapted and understood today reflects a profound shift in how ancient wisdom is valued and applied. Where once these myths were confined to the monastic sphere, they now inspire and uplift people from all walks of life. They provide a source of strength and insight, helping individuals navigate the complexities of modern existence with grace and purpose. In every adaptation, the core messages of Buddhist mythology, compassion, wisdom, and the quest for inner peace, remain intact. These myths are not just relics of the past, but living, breathing stories that continue to offer guidance and inspiration. As they are woven into the fabric of contemporary life, they help bridge the gap between ancient traditions and modern realities, creating a continuity of wisdom that speaks to the human heart across the ages. Imagine walking through a vast, ancient forest, where every tree, every path, and every whisper of the wind tells a story. Each legend and tale is a living thread in the tapestry of human culture, and among these threads, the myths of Buddhism shine with a timeless glow. These stories, with their profound lessons and rich symbolism, have woven themselves into the fabric of global culture, leaving a legacy that touches hearts and minds around the world. The influence of Buddhist mythology stretches far beyond the boundaries of its origins. From the peaceful temples in distant lands to the art displayed in modern galleries, these myths speak to something deep within us all. They offer a vision of compassion, wisdom, and enlightenment that resonates across cultures and eras. In the bustling cities and quiet countryside alike, the stories of the Buddha, his teachings, and the myriad figures of Buddhist mythology continue to inspire and guide. Consider the figure of Avalokiteshvara, the embodiment of boundless compassion. In every corner of the world where people strive to ease suffering and bring hope to those in need, this bodhisattva's presence is felt. The myth of Avalokiteshvara transcends geographic and cultural boundaries, becoming a universal symbol of mercy and empathy. It is in the kind acts of strangers, the selfless work of volunteers, and the quiet moments of understanding between individuals that the essence of Avalokiteshvara's compassion is mirrored and lived out. Similarly, the myth of the Bodhisattva Manjushri, the embodiment of wisdom, inspires those who seek knowledge and enlightenment. In academic institutions and spiritual practices alike, the pursuit of wisdom and the quest for deeper understanding echo Manjushri's influence. The stories of his wisdom have found their way into educational philosophies, encouraging a learning process that values insight and enlightenment as much as factual knowledge. The narrative of Maitreya, the future Buddha, holds a special place in the hearts of those who dream of a brighter, more compassionate world. This myth offers hope and a vision for the future, reminding us that each act of kindness and each moment of understanding is a step towards a better tomorrow. Maitreya's story is a beacon of hope, inspiring efforts to create a world where the values of peace and compassion are realized in everyday life. The impact of Buddhist mythology is also visible in the realm of modern media and culture. Films, literature, and art frequently draw upon Buddhist themes, weaving them into narratives that resonate with contemporary audiences. These modern adaptations bring ancient myths to life in new and exciting ways, demonstrating their continued relevance and power. In every story told and every piece of art created, the essence of Buddhist teachings is reimagined and celebrated, keeping these age-old myths vibrant and accessible. For practitioners and scholars, Buddhist myths are not just ancient tales, but vital sources of inspiration and guidance. These stories provide a framework for understanding the nature of existence, the path to enlightenment, and the power of compassion. They offer practical lessons on how to navigate the challenges of life, how to cultivate inner peace, and how to approach others with kindness. The myths are cherished not only for their historical significance, but for their ability to provide clarity and solace in times of need. In academic circles, the study of Buddhist mythology opens doors to profound insights into human psychology, culture, and spirituality. Scholars explore these myths to understand the ways in which they have shaped and been shaped by the cultures in which they are found. The rich symbolism and intricate narratives offer a window into the human experience, revealing how ancient peoples grappled with existential questions and sought meaning in their lives. Across the globe, from quiet meditation retreats to bustling urban centers, the myths of Buddhism continue to inspire and transform. They offer a reminder of the shared human journey towards wisdom and compassion, bridging gaps between different cultures and traditions. Each retelling, each reflection on these myths, adds a new layer to their legacy, ensuring that their messages of hope, love, and enlightenment continue to touch the hearts of people everywhere. As these myths endure through time, they remind us of our common humanity and the universal values that bind us together. They offer stories of struggle and triumph, of compassion and wisdom that resonate deeply with the human spirit. The legacy of Buddhist mythology is not merely a collection of ancient tales, but a living testament to the enduring power of these teachings to inspire and guide us through the complexities of life.